If you own a gun in America, you need to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. A massive federal court ruling just dropped, and it's changing everything about how gun laws function across the nation. I'm going to walk you through 10 major updates that emerged from this decision, and these updates could be the difference between freely using your rights or ending up in serious legal hot water. We're not discussing small tweaks to current regulations. This is about core changes to how your constitutional protections are being upheld. Make sure you subscribe because knowing this stuff could actually keep you out of legal trouble in the future. Let's start with number 10. If you've ever worried about driving through certain states with your legally purchased firearm, that concern is now in the past. Federal courts have basically set up a protected corridor for law-abiding gun owners who travel across state lines. Here's how it works in plain terms. If your firearm is allowed where your trip begins and allowed at your destination, federal law covers you for the whole drive in between. You don't have to stress about getting arrested in New Jersey anymore while you're driving from Pennsylvania up to Vermont. And there's more good news on top of that. You're covered not just when the firearm is secured in your trunk, but also during reasonable stops for meals, fuel, or when you need to stay somewhere overnight. If you have a valid permit, you can legally carry it regardless of what the local regulations say. The phrase you want to remember if you get stopped by police is this: I'm traveling under federal interstate protection. Police forces in states with strict rules are now having to completely redo their training because of this update. Moving to number 9, this one makes your property rights much stronger. Federal agents can't just appear at your doorstep anymore simply because you own firearms. Those surprise compliance visits that gun shop owners have been subjected to now require a warrant that's based on genuine criminal evidence, not just the fact that you're involved in the gun industry. This protection covers you whether you're building a gun collection at home, managing a shooting range, or running any kind of firearms-related operation. The government has to handle your property with the same respect they'd give to any other constitutional right, following proper legal steps. If federal agents show up at your door, your answer is straightforward. Show me a warrant that lists specific criminal accusations, or you're not searching my property.
Number 8 addresses something that should have always been simple, but somehow got complicated: purchasing ammunition. The courts have finally acknowledged what people who own guns have understood all along. A firearm without bullets serves no purpose. This means all those administrative obstacles you've been forced to navigate just to buy ammo are now eliminated. California can no longer require you to pass a background check just to purchase bullets. New York can't prohibit online ammunition purchases. Connecticut can't put limits on how much you're allowed to buy. Illinois can't mandate that ammunition be serialized. Purchasing ammo should be just as straightforward as buying any other legal item, and now that's exactly what it is. Gun shops can return to standard counter sales, and online sellers can deliver to customers nationwide without dealing with a confusing mix of different state rules. Number 7 is excellent news if you work in the gun industry or you're considering getting your federal license. The ATF can no longer rely on unclear standards or manipulate enforcement practices. Gun-related businesses now receive the same legal safeguards as any other lawful commercial operation. This means those trap inspections that hunt for tiny paperwork mistakes are largely finished. The ATF can't take away your license because of small errors that don't actually constitute crimes. If you apply for your FFL, they must handle it within 60 days instead of stretching it out for months. Home-based dealers who've been mistreated by local officials now have federal support behind them. The main point is that legitimate firearm businesses can function without living in constant fear of random government interference. Number 6 deals with something sneaky that's been going on. The government has been monitoring your digital activity because you own guns. They were watching your location when you went to gun stores, keeping track of your online ammunition orders, recording your gun-related searches on the internet, and creating profiles using your social media activity. All of that is now illegal. The court determined that the government can't use your exercise of constitutional rights as a reason for ongoing surveillance. Your phone information, credit card transactions, and online behavior connected to legal gun ownership are now protected. If anyone attempts to get access to this data, tell them this: digital surveillance of lawful gun owners is prohibited, and I don't consent to any searches of my devices or records.
Number 5 puts an end to the tricks that certain states have been using with carry permits. The Supreme Court established 3 rules that can't be negotiated. Permits have to be processed within 30 days. There can't be any subjective good cause requirements, and fees can't go above $50. States can't transform a constitutional right into a privilege by forcing you to wait indefinitely, demanding that you justify why you need to carry, or charging unreasonable fees. If you're in California, New York, New Jersey, or any other state with tight restrictions, your whole permit system just got a major overhaul. Applications that have been stuck in administrative delays for months are now automatically approved after 30 days. Number 4 is likely the largest privacy victory we've witnessed. The federal government has been instructed to erase all their digitized records of gun owners within 90 days. The courts declared that keeping searchable databases breaks federal law. Period. Even more significant, any state that gives gun owner data to federal agencies is taking part in an illegal registry and must stop right away. The ATF has 90 days to demonstrate they've destroyed everything, or they'll face contempt of court charges. This essentially ends any chance of creating a national gun registry through indirect means. Number 3 stops gun confiscation without proper criminal procedure. Red flag laws that don't demand actual criminal charges are unconstitutional. Civil asset forfeiture of guns is finished. Police can't seize your firearms during an investigation unless you're actually arrested and formally charged with a crime. The Supreme Court was absolutely clear about this. No seizure without arrest, official charges, and due process. The days are over when police could say we're taking your guns while we investigate, or someone reported you might be dangerous. Number 2 transforms everything about how police deal with gun owners. Officers who break your Second Amendment rights don't get qualified immunity protection anymore. They're looking at personal financial responsibility, possible federal prosecution, and consequences that can end their careers. The court stated that if any reasonable person would understand that taking someone's legal gun or arresting them for lawful carry violates the Constitution, then police officers are supposed to know it as well. This has already led to personal judgments worth millions of dollars against officers, and police departments are rushing to retrain their entire staff.
Number 1 is the foundation that enables everything else. The Supreme Court raised Second Amendment rights to the highest tier of constitutional protection that exists under American law. This means any law that impacts your gun rights must pass strict scrutiny, which is the toughest legal standard we have. The government has to demonstrate they have a compelling justification for any limitation and must use the least restrictive approach available. The responsibility now sits completely with the government to defend restrictions on your rights, not with you to argue that you deserve them. This single change puts thousands of current gun laws into legal doubt and requires politicians to satisfy the highest constitutional benchmarks before they pass new limitations. What we're seeing here is the most complete restoration of Second Amendment rights in multiple generations. These aren't just legal details that only lawyers care about. They're actual protections that influence how you can use your constitutional rights in everyday life. The important thing is understanding these changes and knowing how to apply them. Owning guns in America just became significantly more straightforward and significantly more protected. Stay educated. Know what your rights are. And keep in mind that these protections only function if you actually understand them. The legal environment has moved dramatically towards supporting constitutional rights, and every person who owns guns needs to grasp what that means for them in their own life. If you found this information valuable and want to stay updated on more changes that affect your rights, go ahead and hit that like button right now. It really helps get this critical information out to more gun owners who need to see it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future updates. We're committed to keeping you informed about the legal changes that matter most to responsible gun owners across America. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.